Yeah, we're starting. So, question 4, what is the role of collaborators? Who are the collaborators and why do you think, what is the role played by them? Three is I have briefly covered, so we are kind of skipping. The mic, it seems, is not on. Check. Oh, वाला mic. हाँ, ठीक है, बोल.
Sir, especially ICO work closely with non-governmental organization, NGO and other private organization to deliver its healthcare service and
Why are NGOs needed? Why they need to work with them?
because they are not trusted any private companies because they do not allow their because they have entered their company. This is not became what I say is that compromising the quality to not
That may not be fully true. That is for other companies. If they are from local area, they might still have the trust. But why do they need the NGOs more? You have some thoughts?
So for the local connection, and they have a better idea about what are the needs, what are the lacunae areas to be addressed by for delivering these healthcare services. They have that need. And another thing is, if when the corporates are coming into the picture, as I was talking yesterday about, that is a CSR fund. It is channelized through the NGOs. It is one of the mandates which has been given by the government. So through the NGOs only they can get the funds. And over here also the founder, he was also thinking of building his own subsidiaries, regarding these NGOs, so that he can get the funds readily, other than going and begging for the funds from them.
That time actually when he started, this was not there, this 2% CSR and the role of NGOs, but he still needed NGOs to have that on ground presence, as you said.
Yes,
they have
that
been
local
NGOs,
connection.
some form of NGOs have been always working in the villages, so they know there are some connections. Sometimes they also have facilities, as they have said.
Yes.
They have some buildings which they can use when they are organizing the health camps and doing the checking. So the NGOs bring in some resources, some local connection, knowledge. That's why. So one is NGOs. Any other? Who are the other collaborators or potential collaborators they can work with?
Sir, the local, local governments who are there, who are already doing a good work with that local government operated PHCs which were there. But there was a gap again, because they could not understand the demand. What was the actual problem? They did not understand that. And even the medicine availability was also not there. And test performing facilities were also not available, which was being, again, the NGOs came into the picture, as well as the other big organizations. Equipment manufacturing organizations, they also came in front to provide all those equipments. So that was as a CSR activity. So that came free of cost.
Yeah.
So that reduced the cost as well. So these all institutions, the corporates and all, everyone came into the picture.
But PHCs for government, it is a little bit tricky situation. They are
Yes.
anyway getting into this business because this gap exists because of them. But you cannot completely avoid and not working because it's a small area. The PSC also exists.
Yes.
It's not that you are competing. In a way, you are trying to address some of the gap which is not addressed by them. But in some cases, they are better equipped. For example, the maternal health, government has already schemes, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
those things are anyway rolled out through the PHCs. So sometimes I know in the early days, some of the things very ethically they said that even if some village women are coming to them, they said this is not what we should do because government is already doing. you should go to the PHC and whatever, sometimes they are giving some folic acid tablets or whatever, those
Yes.
things are available free of charge from the government. You should go to PHC first. If you are not able at all to get, then come to us. We should not directly give you, because it's a government scheme. So even now in I know in Jharkhand also they are working. So it's kind of working
Working
closely.
together
in a-
also leads to do away with the conflicts which
Ah.
can come up later on.
Yeah, conflicts can be very bad for them. So when they have to work together with the PHCs.
Sir, and
Please,
also,
any other?
and also, sir, after the reading World Bank blog on
Hmm.
iCure, Mexican state was interested to funding to
Hmm.
iCure
Yes.
group Mexico.
Hmm.
Provide to funding to iCare group in Mexico.
Hmm. No, there are other things mentioned. So they were parallelly exploring even research institutes like universities, like we were universities, but also there are some connection with US universities. And most universities want to do research, but doing research in this kind of remote geographies is very difficult for professors to come and have access, right? So they were open to that. Actually they did some projects from Stanford and some other places, doing some these field level studies. So they will get also some fund, and but there is a tricky question. If they collect lot of data ownership goes to the university. It may be sensitive personal data, right? So health related data. That time what kind of checks they maintained, I don't know. But they at least they had a proper agreement with Stanford or some other Michigan, I think they did some work. So this was purely for research purpose. They were also getting some money, and through their channel they did. But as I was mentioning, many pharmaceutical companies were also very keen, but they said very clearly, we will not, because it can be very dangerous. Using our channel with our name, we will go and we don't know finally what kind of things you are doing. Health is, though our regulation is not as stringent, but if you collect lot of data, then we should, there is also a lack of trust issue might happen, right? So, but collaborators are important. This is kind of thing, and later on you will see in the paper I actually compared iCure with another case. They were the Neurosynaptic, there is another company. They were in a completely kind of different trajectory they followed. So Neurosynaptic had a technical solution, they had kind of a measuring device and box similar, but they never directly got into healthcare delivery. They were technological providers, but iCure, he was very clear that he will get into real healthcare delivery, but real healthcare delivery comes with so much of challenges, right? So you have to work with collaborators. So that was anyway needed. The next question is that scale up, right? What challenges they are likely to face when scaling up, particularly if they have to do in multiple new locations. They started obviously with Midnapur, some other districts in West Bengal, then they moved to Jharkhand, Odisha, Karnataka, Nagaland, maybe Maharashtra. That's only they have done. But what do you think is the challenge when a startup like this goes to multiple locations? Yeah, present the mic behind. Fifth, yeah.
The first challenge which comes,
She is mentioning something, I think.
the first challenges which any for healthcare services for multiple. When I come to the scaling up portion first, scaling up, obviously people has an idea when we scale up, the quality tends to fall. So to maintain that quality, because they are providing services like the testing also. For the testing, we need that skilled personals. The radiologist, the pathologist, it is from the entry level point, like collecting the data, collecting the samples, to analysis, to dispatching the reports, to then to in that case. So when they are scaling up, they can collaborate with the local community health centers, and within that radius of 10-20 kilometers, any multi-speciality or super speciality hospitals are there, because only select, because when I read, it was only with Narayana Group, but that is not ideal, because in some situation of
No, that was not, Narayana Group was separate, but every state where they
means
are, there are
if it is in
some
Mednipur or in Bardhaman or something, which are the mainly the famous ones, or not famous ones, at least they provide a
Functional
proper
good hospital.
good functional hospitals where they have facilities. Number one for OTs, because in case of gynecologists like childbirth and everything, these are all emergency cases. Any accident, snake bites, water related diseases and something. So in that case, they could be rushed off easily to the emergency section and not just led to the government hospitals that they are just laying aside. So these are the sections they have to take care of. And when they are setting up at new places, they have to understand the sentiment of the people first. Understand the sentiment of the people, and also understand the occupation of that people first. If there are some fishing areas, so there will be water related disorders more. If they are from the agricultural base, or just we say normal skilled laborers, like we have government things, the Akshodinar cards and all these they go. So all these engineering stuffs are there. So the treatment or the kind of medicines they have to stock, that will be different. So all these parameters they have to take care of. And some other points will be the geographical locations and the social and the political conditions. They have to be very good with the local political support also, because without them in West Bengal or in India, it is very difficult to survive in any form of this is there. Because, and moreover, when it is for good of the people. So for these cases, these are the certain factors we have to take care of. And when in healthcare, every day new facilities are coming up. When it is coming up, it is costlier also. So like if any person is having cancer, PET scan and all these are very costly. They should have that tie up so that they can send to this person as a reference or for consultation to different place. So you can, it will be at reduced cost, it will be done. So these things they have to take care of.
You have given very detailed. I'll come back to that. You had some other points.
Yes, sir. Apart from that, I want to add some few points, because in India, mainly the population rely on traditional medicines like Ayurveda, Unani, and as they are providing services in allopathic sector, so to build up the trust among the local people, they also have to venture around this traditional medicine systems also. And apart from that, as they are also collaborating with NGOs and others, third party people, so there will be a operational or economical some oversight, or they have to track all those things. Many corruption or middlemen can come between them, so that also has to be taken care of. And as they are working in localized sector, the local health profile has also be monitored, that in particular region some diseases can be very prevalent there, and other place that may not be the case. So that case study also has to be studies in depth.
All of these which you say are true, because I have interacted them with a lot. That's why they are very cautious. They do all of this work to understand whether it's possible for them to venture, because they don't want to do a bad shoddy service, right? So they study. When I know, so even Karnataka, only one place, few places they have gone. So they are focused only on anemic mothers. They don't do much in that area, only focusing on that kind of condition, and they provide. So whatever they do well, they have to do well. That was their thinking, instead of trying to do everything, right? So, and their focus is, you mentioned diagnostics. Diagnostics actually came late. They track using their device all the basic parameters first. That is what they collect. That is what their own doctors first check. If there are further diagnostic blood tests, I think then they hub clinics, then they added the diagnostic centers. They can do the basic test. But major surgical interventions, they don't directly, unless with the regular monitoring they find out the person has cardiac. Many places they had diabetic cases, but cardiac cases. Cancer, I don't know to what extent, because it is completely different area. Again, as I said, they are cautious of deciding what they will not do, because it's not, they are not super specialty.
They were tracking everyone.
They will come
like-
across cases where there are
come
potential.
across cases, so that they should have that tie-ups, because when I'm going to a doctor, I complete trust that person. When I'm going to some hospital or something.
Yeah.
So these people are also local people, rural people, they don't understand much. They don't have so much clarity.
Yeah.
I want, they just show a way so that their
Yes.
treatments are not delayed.
Yeah.
The things are being done in that way.
That's why they had tied up. Now they have tied up with many secondary, but again they have taken a very kind of cautious approach. They don't want to, again there are a lot of money-minded private hospitals. They can't, so, and no point in again sending them to the governments. That's why they have chosen some hospitals who are good, who have the same kind of values like them. Obviously these are profit making, but at the same time they are not really fleecing people, right? So they have carefully chosen some partners where they can refer their patients to. So this is a big challenge. Scaling up these kind of things in India, I think in now they are almost 15 years. You can see only few places, literally few districts they have been able to do anything in India, but they are doing more possibly outside India. But whatever they have done, the impact is very high in those regions. But it's sad that still difficult so much to kind of penetrate, because it's also local customs, as you said. Things are different, and your point was also valid. He has told that many times. They face actual competition from these quacks, and not even Ayurveda, literal quacks. Right? People have been going to them for all the time, and when they go in, they will be backlash. They are also part of the community. They will spread some rumors or bad things about them and all of this.
But scaling up will also require, investment in technology. Because, if you are expanding, then those reporting and all those things, it becomes difficult to do. But another thing which also comes with it is the privacy of data and how they handle the
Yes,
security and privacy, because these are all personal data.
Yes.
And you will be supposed to, that's not your core competency, but you will have to collaborate with some kind of.
No, since they are primarily and also a kind of IT company, they have
Oh,
this device, right? So when they were doing, they had full control over that, and because he worked in IT industry before, so he managed this. Now I think also IBM is very keen, so they have some tie-up with IBM now, and IBM is trying to push some AI solutions, whatever.
Because
I
there
don't
will
know.
be some cloud
Yeah,
technology,
anyway,
and
their
then
things were on cloud.
so data storage and about security of data, all these things
Yeah.
need to
But
be taken.
moment they expand beyond, right now it's, as I said, it's still very few. If they have to expand many cases, this will kind of exponentially increase the level of complexity, because the level of data collected is also huge.
Sir,
Plus,
again, if we look at the financial part, I mean, since I come from finance background, sir, I mean, you are saying that they are taking up niche areas and they are expanding. But the moment they expand to different places, a lot of capital investment is required. So, if I am asked to suggest, then I would say that whatever existing RHCs they have, they can add little bit services, or the radii which they are working in, say that was mentioned as 20 kilometers, if they can recruit extra human resource and they expand the area little by little, because all of a sudden from West Bengal, if I'm going to Rajasthan or Gujarat, then people also don't know.
Yeah.
But word of mouth is a very strong thing.
Yeah.
So if neighboring areas, I mean, keeping an epicenter and then you are spreading, that would be a very important part from the financial aspect.
Yeah.
The investment will be low, the reach will be greater, and even the revenues will also
Yeah.
start coming
so
in.
That's why you have seen they have been very slow, and they managed to keep the cost low because they didn't want to set up anything in the villages.
Yes.
So only their investment was actually that hub clinic. Right? They will either build even that place, if they can get a building from somebody, it's great. Then they had invested in the diagnostics equipment there and the salary of the doctor and salary of the people. Their capital costs were still quite low. Even now, they as much possible, that's why they need the NGOs. They will have, so even ask the government or the panchayat to say, give me some place or renting some space. They don't build any kind of buildings or something as much as possible. And as you said, that's why they have not ventured out to far off states where they don't know.
Yes, existing resource utilization is very important when we think about the
Plus,
return
they
on
are
investment.
still dependent on doctors in every hub clinic.
Yes.
At least they are recruiting doctors is difficult.
Difficult.
Right? So wherever they are able to recruit, they are going. But they are doing a very thorough study of which area to go. Now they have also realized Jharkhand is good, closer to West Bengal, and there are some places, and more importantly, companies are there who are giving those CSR projects. So that's why they have gone to Jharkhand, Orissa. From certain areas in West Bengal also, most places they are not there. But kind of since they are started from Mednipur, then going to Jharkhand, Orissa is easier. But they are now, if you see, I'll show you the videos. They are now trying to penetrate Sundarban quite a lot, and this is very difficult terrain. But he is very passionate about. If they can crack Sundarban, then because and they, I have seen, I have also gone to
Yeah.
Sundarban with them. So Kumirmari is a place which is by from Diamond Harbour itself is like 7 hours, right? So it's very difficult. But then they recruited also people from those local areas, so women who will actually go door to door and do the screening and testing, right? But those people I have met, they are very enthusiastic because they think they are. They said they had lot of now respect in the community because they are doing, and they are also getting money, reasonably good amount of money to do this work. So this is making a lot of changes to their lives. But Sundarban is kind of his pet project now, and he is also trying to create in Sonarpur, I think, as kind of a live-in lab. He is telling he will bring in people and do research, and from that center they will actually focus more on Sundarbans. That is the kind of priority
Sir,
now.
one another thing, I don't know whether it is there in the medical course or not. Like when we study the other disciplines, I mean professions, everywhere there is this professional ethics. I mean for doctors also it should be
Yeah.
mandatory
Yes,
that
yes,
for the first few years it should be important that you have to go to any rural areas. That can be of your choice, but you must go there. Because now, I mean, my friends also I find, they are reluctant to go to these rural areas and work. In banks like State Bank, they
They
have that
go-
minimum of 3 years you have to go to the rural areas and be posted. So here also there should
Medical
be.
also there may have been, but I think for realistic reason they might have scrapped. I heard some.
Those who are completed their MBBS and their PG from Odisha, they are bound to serve in KBK districts first. Those districts who are affected by the Maoist.
Ah.
So they are bound to serve there for 3 years. So there is
That
no
is like a
escape.
punishment posting. But yes.
But sir, someone has to go.
Go, yes, yes.
They are arguing that we are compared to some of those areas, whereas the engineers who just passed out from the college, they are not bound to do so.
Ah.
Those are the things they are complaining.
So who will build the bridges which have
Yeah.
been destroyed? There also we need engineers.
So in the rural area, there are also some hesitancy among the people. There is a common notion that if they go for any testing, something will come out. There is lack of awareness that all those things are already in their body that will come out in the test. But they feel like it is like police, that once it enters your house, it will not go in near future. That is a normal notion and hesitancy to check for even a primary healthcare camp. There are
Yes.
very low turnout rate in those camps also.
Yeah.
And so, like for this challenges, communication gap will be the more hurdle, because if we'll take Odisha, it's like many tribal areas are there. So for setting up there, they must know the tribe language, because they used to prefer not like the
That's why
outside
they
person.
recruit from the village.
Yeah,
Some
that's-
educated people, even there are 12th pass people they are recruiting who
Yeah,
can
so
speak
that's
their
in-
language, and it's not
Exactly,
possible
so that
otherwise.
they have better understanding what they want from us and how we can help them.
Yeah.
They should basically focus upon the deep community understanding.
Ah.
They can understand the culture and
Yes.
their rules accordingly. So
Yes. Otherwise, it's not possible. Healthcare delivery.
Some mention about engineers. So I have to defend my capability because that only that they are. I will tell you actually realistically. And I mean there are some persons from Odisha. Angul में क्या company है बताइए? So there the severe problem is in talent acquisition, they are recruiting again from a they are recruiting management trainees all over the country, but like after investing in their training for the first year, by 18 months people are leaving. Okay, I was telling this yesterday in the lecture of Professor Srivastav, that the Gen Z or whatever, वो सब जगह में मतलब they are now, so therefore what they are doing also, and I talked to the HR managers, क्या कर रहे हैं इस-
Hire locally.
yeah, they are
much as
more
possible.
concentrating that, I mean whoever is more of that local or regional kind of thing that they are doing. So it is a problem with that generation that everybody wants to go into the metro cities
सबको
and
MBA करना है.
Contract was there, no? Wherein once you join, you cannot join. I mean, at least 3 or 4 years. Yes,
अरे
that bond
वो-
is there.
That's a different story altogether.
No, that you can do. You will learn everything and you'll go. That brain drain is also not right. Obviously, they have the pressures from the parents. ROI, as much as it is.
Yes.
Brain drain, what you are saying, even IIT, if you look at IIT, is the greatest here. You look at those who are joining the engineering BTech course, and at the end of it, what percentage are actually serving the engineering sector, who are going out? There is a minuscule thing, and I just think that for that minuscule top 1 to 1,000 rank, I mean, and you now see the kind of work that is going, you just have to do your job diligently. I would be not wanting, very intelligent people, because they will be again, if there are a lot of, this is a different subject altogether. The education, and after you come into the IIT, it's totally different. So, and you look at the competition, that if you are just, 2-3 marks, somebody is failing, he is not bad. But probably it was a bad day in office. But so it's a different, thing altogether about.
Okay, let's move on. We will not solve all of India's problem. So next, this 6 is also very closely related to 5. We have already discussed little bit. Should they focus on additional service in existing? You also said, and should they try to start expanding to other states, right? Can we summarize this? We already discussed. Yeah. Anybody?
So, sir, regarding this question, whether ICOR should focus on adding services in existing center or expand it to new location. So, according to me, there must be, there would be pros and cons in both the options, because if you talk about the first option, it will strengthen the current model, and it will also improve the patient care, because they will have data of the local people, and the drawbacks would be slow expansion and loss of opportunities because of the competitor. So according to me, the collaboration efforts should be like they should start with a small scale project in new area, and collaboration with NGOs and use of CSR fund will help them to understand the local communities, and they will able to gain trust of people.
No, that's what exactly I have done, and so this is over a period of time. I will show later dynamically. So they initially focused on not going to different areas, but same area. Slowly they added more services. Then they started going to different areas. Even in different areas, they started small kind of subset of services. There is a trade-off there, but I will show what is the logic behind how they moved over a period of time, say 5-6 years, how they kind of changed their priorities a little bit. Yes.
Sir, another suggestion, I mean, if they can go for knowledge sharing, I mean, I think they are not the only ones who want to give this kind of a healthcare service, But wherever they are wanting to go, instead of going themselves, if they give the consultancy service, so that they are giving whatever model they are using, they are sharing that knowledge to another startup maybe in some other regions, and they can take it up from there. Then that language barrier is also taken care of, the local problem area, I mean that everything can be taken care of if they go for such kind of partnerships.
I don't think they have done this. So this is a good suggestion. To what extent he is open to that, I don't know. But clearly they can also, now with 15 years experience, they can provide lot of inputs to others, very well knowing that they cannot expand to even all the states in India. So it is not possible.
So you said that servitization, I mean that can happen.
Yeah, so this is kind of a service model they can provide to others who can do this. Franchising is still different, then he has to have control. Now, franchisee, he still has to have control and set up all the process and so on. But it can be other. In other, I have not asked him or talked to him about how he is managing in the other countries. Now, I don't think he is managing everything. He doesn't have so many people in all these countries. I think they are in the countries they are doing this, because I see he is in Bahrain and other places, and Thailand. So maybe there are other places they are doing.
There is something called complementary model. I mean, like what you are talking about that.
Yes.
So they will gain access only through APIs, certain things what are needed, like for sharing that part. And they are part of that ecosystem. So whatever, like, what you want to share, there will be some issues which you don't want to share.
Yeah.
And so there are those models.
Sure.
In plan.
Okay, let's look at the last question. Viable model, again I will show there are different things, but we already again discussed, you mentioned this consultancy service. What are the possible ways they can generate revenues? And with revenue generation also additional challenges will come, right? So they already in those early years, as I was saying, with the pharmaceutical companies, they were getting some potential revenue generation opportunities, but he turned down those. So what kind of ways they can generate? And over a period of time, he added some more things to the portfolio. We get some, so they added SILA, this spectacles and other things, which is kind of low involvement, right? So eye checkup is easy, and you give some spectacles, and that this company was providing. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So they have a lot of skin problems. If I
Yeah.
have, little of knowledge, I've seen these rural areas, there are more of that. So that can be taken care of.
Yeah.
Or they are prone to snake bites. These
Snake bites and
bee stings,
Yeah.
all these. The minimum. That
Yes.
what hydrocortisone
Yes.
lotions are there? Those are also not available.
not
in
available.
the
Yeah, those things I think
available
they do.
centers.
They do.
So
These are like the basic they anyway have to do.
Yes.
That is.
If that can be taken care of.
Okay, I will show because I have used this case in many places. When starting from I am Lucknow, then also in Denmark, I taught them. I asked them to go through what is happening in West Bengal. So, and the feedback was good. So in these cases, in full master's courses, I taught. Actually, the Danish students did the best work. they studied a lot, and so some of these things I have mentioned in the slides. What I had discussed with them. This part we have already discussed.
This will be shared with us.
Yeah. So as I said, even NGOs estimating the demand, they were helping, kind of forecasting what is the willingness to pay. You cannot ask, but NGOs kind of know, right, how much they should charge. So that time they were asking 90 rupees, then 110 slowly. I think now they are around 250 they charge, but that is also nominal. With 250 whatever they are providing, everything included. So NGOs were helping. Slide is not coming proper. Yeah, this was the one I wanted to show how over a period of time, this was a kind of my framework. If you see, there are constraints faced by both the company as well as their customers, right? And in any kind of setup, this is important to distinguish. There are certain things you are facing problems, your target population is also facing problems, and whether your focus is kind of service delivery or product or service. So, initially they started with developing this WIMS system, that is the product they had, but this alone does not mean anything unless they have on the ground service, right. So, deploying WIMS by active involvement in healthcare delivery by employing doctors, this is what they focused on in the early years, this is what they have to perfect, because this is the problem faced by customers and it's a need, this is the main thing they should do. Then as they slowly moved on, their own internal constraints become bigger, as you said, any startup, they have funding issues, resource issues. So, then they had to collaborate with partners more and more through healthcare, through rural centers, and explore additional sources of revenue. So, that say another next 5-6 years, this became more of a priority. In the existing centers, how can we get more revenue, more additional services and more collaboration to keep the cost down. Once they have again perfected, then they started providing full range of healthcare services to this rural population. So, then they added diagnostics and more kind of things, again looking at the challenges which the customers are facing. So, this happened over a period of time dynamically, that is why these arrows you will see typically almost every cycle took around 5 years, 3 to 5 years kind of time frame. So, revenue generation, if you look at that time itself, fees for patients, CSR funds, licensing of WIMS to partnering hospitals, they I think initially they started this, I do not think they do it that much, and commission research and data analytics for some reputed universities they have done. Others were conducting healthcare needs profiling studies for international organization, some sales and demand planning which they actually did not do, and upgrading WIMS to many other things. I think WIMS now they have upgraded so that they can capture many specific profiles for pregnancy risk, emergency services, and collaborating with also the government agencies as we have said. So, this they added as potential revenue generation. Alliance processes, again this I have not taught, that is why I have skipped, this is more from a operations perspective. So, there are structural, infrastructural and integration decisions and on how it helps in service delivery. So, we have not gone through these concepts well. Now, this is another company, if you read the paper you will see they are very similar in the way they started off, but then they followed a completely different path. So, this company realized that they cannot actually do rural healthcare delivery, they are all engineers, they developed this product. So, they involved in healthcare delivery to demonstrate this proof of concept, their focus, they already had challenges, patients needs are there, but they do not want to get into the actual healthcare delivery was what they decided, they collaborate with partners and they focused on continuous improvement of the product to meet the customer needs, not the service delivery. Then service innovation came by delivering services over cloud to NGOs customers, but they never had people on the ground, right. So, it is a kind of different path. Right now also they can see they have not grown as much as IQR has done, but they are still also operational and they are I think still, I don't know to what extent they are profitable I do not know, but they are still there, they are also expanding. Karnataka, Maharashtra is currently I think their focus, but they have this product which is kind of similar to IQR, but they do not have on the ground healthcare professionals. We do not have time to this, but if some of you want to do, choose one particular SDG, identify social enterprise who are working on that, discuss their business model and how they are ensuring this we call 4 A's or triple A's, accessibility, affordability and availability. This is what they are trying to ensure, right. So, this is you can do an exercise on your own, but you can read the paper, I think I have provided there. So, you will see that is one of the things which I like, and when you are involved with a company over multiple years, you can see in the paper quality itself will, you are not so much dependent, you collected lot of data yourself and you have seen it yourself. So, when the review comments come up also you can answer better. So, this one I really liked, it actually went through quite well because we could explain most of the things and we had data, and the framework which came up was also quite good. So, I will stop IQR part there. We also had to have IKEA discussion, but before that there is one more thing I will cover. Any questions? I think this was a good discussion we had. So, I think you also overall enjoyed. This is very real, right? This is happening very near us, and this is all a problem we can relate to. But it is surprising, this is so difficult. This is not just creating a platform and selling ABC, right? This is very hard work, and unless you are passionate, most entrepreneurs will give up. As I said, he has personal reason why he is so much actively involved, and he has recruited people who can actually, who have that passion or feeling. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So there are some people I know who live in Calcutta and go to Sundarban every day and doing this, right? So 2-3 days they are staying there. So it's not easy to do this. Yeah, any question?
Just asking. I'm not sure about this, but this is something they are talking about providing health services to the bottom of the pyramid with an affordable cost. But when we are talking about the affordability, and specifically in rural area, all are not not coming under the same bracket, same umbrella.
Yes.
Why they are not choosing the tired services, like those who can afford, they can
Yes,
pay
their
for
pricing, with that pricing itself, not everybody will be able to afford. That's why they do some work with NGOs, find out how much people can pay. I think roughly it varies between 200 and 250 now, which people can pay. And initial years he told me that people are actually willing to pay. People do not want something for free also. Rural people have also that sense of pride. उनको free में नहीं लेना है. But whatever they get, they should be good quality and they should get that service. That was the thing. तो हम लोग free में जाते हैं but कुछ नहीं मिलता है, right? So at least you give us something and good quality and don't cheat us, and that is what people are saying. We are willing to pay. That time 2014-15, people are willing to pay 100 rupees. Now they are willing to pay 200 rupees. Still some people will not be able to pay. So that we cannot. But they are also doing, they do these CSR projects which are anyway free. So when they started the CSR projects, actually now I think most cases they are doing the CSR project in that area first, which is fully free. They already build trust, they do something for 1 year, 2 years. After the project is over, then they start their full kind of commercial operations. But let's say many cases they do CSR projects with the companies. So fully tired, again people do not, in rural areas you will see, उसमें already एक distinction हो जाएगा कि उनके पास है तो वो जा रहा है, हम लोग नहीं जा पा रहे हैं, and हमको 50 ले रहा है, उनको 150 ले रहा है. All this is not very easy to see, right? Same village, neighbors, also अलग dynamics है. And maybe in the same family also, right?
Sir, Midnapur might be having such kind of thing, but if you go to Bakuda and Bardhaman, especially Bakuda, if you go, sir, over there, I mean, most of them, I mean, I'm talking about a study that I did in upon women SHGs way back in 2012. Their monthly wages was not more than ₹7. So for them, and they were, it happened like they were traveling, pregnant women were traveling more than 10 kilometers, and on their way only they died along with the baby. So they have such kind of history wherein they really wanted to pay the money and get, I mean, from wherever possible. And they have a lot of migrant workers who go to different states for working and getting money to their places. So they are willing to pay, and over there, whatever work I did with Gunj. Gunj is one of the biggest NGOs who is working out there, and they told me that they are willing to pay, but the problem which I said, the doctors don't want to come. There are dispensaries where I saw it is totally under lock and key. No one is there because they are unwilling doctors. No, now that is a different thing. This is recorded, sir. I'm working in a government college. I don't want to say anything.
That is fine. He has some connection also to Purulia. When his wife is from Adra, and I had also told him many times, my original place is from Bardhaman and in-laws are from Purulia, but he has not gone to these places. There may be some reason, mainly for possibly doctor recruitment has been a challenge. Even in hub clinics possibly, he has not been able to recruit. There has to be some people, no? If he doesn't get quality people, he doesn't start.
I am personally from Bardhaman also. So my grandparents and everyone at our house are still there. We go. What happens from village? There will be a town, a common point. So they wait per week. শহর থেকে ডাক্তার আসবে they still wait now also in 2024 they 25 they still wait for that and the doctor is like scheduled for once a week on a particular day he misses but he doesn't care or he or she doesn't
he has some other work sometimes even in Bakura medical college থেকে ডাক্তার আসবে yes Bakura medical college they sometimes because he lives maybe his parents live in the village. So he will come, they expect.
But they rarely they turn up. Suppose 4 days in a month they are supposed to come, they come only twice. So these things, someone has to go up and there, and dispensaries are locked. There is no pharmacist, no one is there. The quacks are there, and some other people are there. This will do, this will work, and these things are still prevalent.
That is, very well.
Saddening part of the story, sir. Borders are being crossed from the neighboring country.
They are
They
having
come,
nice medical
they
tourism.
take the facilities by paying more, and our West Bengal people they don't get. That doesn't happen.
India has a history of Maoists also.
That is, it might start again, but at least last few years it is not there so much, and it has developed quite a lot. Now facilities are much better, even health has improved, but still it is in villages you cannot say much. At least Purulia town, I know it's better now. Okay, we talk little bit about supply chain and then we have IKEA discussion. Why this is not, So responsible sourcing, most companies now have this kind of mandate that whatever they are buying from, they need to ensure that the social and environmental considerations are met, right? So they have to verify whom they are buying from, what are their practices. Companies do this by either doing an initial audit and then they send a questionnaire and people fill up and they think everything is fine. So this has been a sham, but in some cases, in UK there is a Modern Slavery Act. Europe there are many things which Madam also has talked about, the CSRRD, and there is a kind of little bit more urgency, but it's still very difficult to collect this data. But the things which are considered there, so rights and well-being at work, the slides should come up. Yeah, there is a little bit of lag. Yeah. So rights and resilience of the communities where the companies are present, what pollutants, governance and ethics practice, materials waste, ecosystem, water, climate. So many things are there, which is nice to have. As we discussed again when we are doing LCA, when we are trying to measure carbon footprint or the water footprint, those things are still easy. I mean, rights and well-being at work, it's very difficult. How do you, unless you go and visit. That's why in earlier days when I worked in Tata Motors or other places, you are also mentioning vendor development, people used to actually spend more time outside your company with the vendors. Now everything is happening online, you just ask them to information and because companies want to also reduce travel time, etc., right? So, but if you go and visit, then you will see the real practices and you can genuinely help them. But these are the things which they need to do. And again, I will not go to Bangladesh, textile industry you can see, and it is not just in developed world. In UK itself, there are places where this kind of labor exploitation is happening. Unfortunately, South Asians are involved. So there are lot of garment factories run by people from our neighboring countries, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and they hire women and pay them kind of much below the even minimum wage rate, and those products are going into big retail stores, right? Sitting within UK, UK is a small country, it's not difficult to find out. Still they are kind of running these factories from the basement of houses and so on and doing this, so everywhere it is happening. This example is actually Calcutta, I don't know, but this was Rights and Wellbeing at Work. They said, this is old actually, so whatever they said, after this productivity improved, so they continued with doing this. Environmental impact we have done. Now we talk about packaging. So this is another, when we talked about LCA, the transportation costs are also very high, right. So this is even for a liquor bottle, just making it flatter. So even this is not common. So somebody designed these bottles in such a way that it's kind of a flat bottle. So it reduces overall packing volume, reduces damage chances and so on. This one, this is a concept again I think we can start. It's not too difficult, but it's still not many places in world have it. This is a company in France, they have now in France, Japan and US. Denmark I have seen. So in Denmark and Scandinavian countries, what you do is, if you take this plastic bottle, there is a price little bit higher than the marked price you pay. Then if you return it back, you get that kind of refund back. So everybody has a incentive to return, to get that money back. Plus if some people are also throwing it in the parks or in the beach or some places, then there are some poor people, right. They always collect this and bring it back, so they also get money. So by that time actually nothing is left on the road, because people get whatever little money, I will get some few cents back.
So in Tirupati it's also there. Like in Tirupati, when we will stand in the queue for waiting the darshan, so we used to take they are having glass bottles. So you can take them, after drinking it, not throwing it, just sell back to the shop.
Okay.
So this is there in Tirupati. I had personally experienced this.
Very good. So why can't this be done? So this is again the
Thumbs up bottle and we were
there used to be there, yes.
I mean, I'm talking about 90s.
Yes.
Like that money they used to give us back.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 rupees we used to
Yes.
take, and we did that. So we have to practice
Some
those
of the
things
things.
again. Yes.
Glass bottles, I think still they are following that practice. Last year I bought some Limca. My children were very fascinated, but they gave us some money when we went it back.
Incentivize them until it becomes a habit.
Yes. So this is very much a habit in Denmark and Sweden. So anybody, because if I take it back, I get money. If I leave it, somebody else will take it and they will get money. So that's why nothing is left on the road. France is not exactly like this, but this company has started up. So it's called Loop. So you have to have their app and all. They will give you a bag and something. Then you can carry multiple products. It's not just a single product. And then you go to the store and drop it. You get that money back, right? Water footprint we have discussed. It's quite actually shocking to see. Chocolate, 1 kg chocolate, 24,000 liters, cotton 2,700, biodiesel from soybean is actually 14,000 liters of water. Nike, somebody sir was mentioning, Nike initial days they faced lot of backlash. There was a famous case about labor exploitation. After that they became kind of cautious, and now they are investing a lot on particularly water and recyclable materials. This is again something I am putting in. Many of you are teachers or they would be teachers, so you can use these exercises. Always it's help. Best thing works where this kind of a session is where you give the material, and in the class you actually only do the discussion, right. So that should be the ways. I have put some reflection questions here. Let's say you are a company and you want to work with your suppliers. How do you find work with the suppliers to do this? So why I do this, when again I am giving a lot of examples from Denmark. There the teaching happens only through this. It's called problem based learning. So all the things we give before a little bit, and in the classes we are actually working couple of hours of, it's not lecture, we are actually working in groups to come up with something tangible and a solution. Almost everything is based on that. So we don't start with a theory and a concept. Basic things are already there recorded, or I give some material they read before. In the class we only discuss and have this kind of thing. This critical minerals you are also asking, so I added again. So 4 elements, more broadly tin, tantalum, tungsten and gold. These are mainly the ones which are conflict minerals, but cobalt is also added. And these are widely used, we do not know, so but these are widely used in any electronics, automotive, medical device, aerospace, and they are finally ending up in our regular products like cars, jewelry, mobile phones, etc. So multinationals are knowingly, sometimes unknowingly affected by these supply chains. So they are trying to have a track of where this is coming from, but this is a notoriously difficult. I am not an expert, but some papers have been written in this area. You can see in horrific amount of abuse which is going on. Right? Women, children, everybody is working in this in very kind of difficult situation, but somebody has actually mapped. There are too many middlemen, most of them are kind of criminal gangs working here. But there are some, again, some due diligence can happen. There are a lot of barriers to do this. But if you do this, again, these people are sure there is a kind of performance improvement which might happen. But compliance, commitment and use some kind of data is needed to do this. Most companies do not have, that is why they are also kind of alliance. Battery, as I told, there is a battery alliance now. So they are all the automotive companies together are trying to solve these problems. Then for supplier sustainability, not many people within the sustainability report, supplier sustainability wise, if you search, very few companies will report. So some Johnson is actually reporting what are their goals, what is their area of focus, what ideas and actions they have taken. So you can look at again some things specifically with suppliers, what they are doing. This one I will skip. Since you are again dairy, I added one dairy paper here, you can see. This is again actually from Indian context. So they studied private and cooperatives also and how they are working on supply development practice as well as socially responsible. Dairy is still easy because historically it has always been cooperative, it is very social. It is working with the dairy farmers, Amul, GCMF and others. But if you see they are already following some good practice. Anyway, the procurement is very local. Then organizing and empowering the small scale suppliers, but also women run dairies now. Training and educating the suppliers about best practices in livestock management. Then including community development issues, many other things like schools, hospitals, etc. they are also doing, and logistical integration of these suppliers, because they themselves cannot do. That is why the main reason why cooperatives came up, right. But now this is very well grained in the system. If Nestle or others come, they also have to do this. So they found the kind of social practices which these companies are doing along with their extended supply chain, mostly with the dairy farmers and the cooperatives. And NGOs bring in, but some NGOs, India has been awfully, they have been cracked down because some NGOs are also doing other things under the radar, right. So it is very difficult to find out which NGO is actually doing what and what they are stating. Are they funded by some what we call as non-state actors, we do not know, right. So organizations cannot know everything, NGOs bring expertise, but choosing NGOs also become very, it will be a disaster for a company if they decide to work with an NGO and then NGO turned out to be a complete fraud and they have terrorist links or whatever, right. So it is also becoming very challenging for companies. So NGOs sometimes are important because they have local knowledge, but at the same time choosing and working with suppliers itself is difficult. Then who is going to do due diligence of NGOs? That is why luckily that at least government is doing that work, and then they can find out. This if you want to, then you can spend some time. How much time we have for the IKEA? I think we have some time. Okay. Let's look, because this is again something, coffee or cocoa are both related. Let's say you are a supply chain manager making a company making chocolates, and you buy cocoa beans from large commodity trading companies, and in turn buying from cocoa farmers and cooperatives, and you also buy directly. What actions will you take to ensure that socially responsible practices are followed in the cocoa supply chain? It's also a difficult problem for them, because this is not, cocoa is not grown in the countries which is making the chocolates. right? So it is mostly coming from Africa or South America.
There is a case study which I had seen,
Hmm.
Brexit,
Hmm.
in HBS,
Hmm.
which actually talks about this whole supply chain,
Hmm.
sourcing cocoa from Congo or
Yeah.
somewhere in
Hmm.
Africa,
Hmm.
and then going through those roasting and
Yeah.
this whole process certified
Hmm.
inspection and all those
Yeah.
processes till it lands it.
Hmm.
But it's a very good case
Hmm.
which also talks about application of technology to bring in
Hmm.
blockchain AI
Yes.
like those cocoa
Yes.
the farmers are paid according to the cup score. There is a
Yeah,
cup
yeah,
score.
yeah, yes. Coffee and cocoa both are very similar in that context, yes.
So it brings in lot of transparency. They
Hmm.
check it there and it's just like direct transfer to the farmer.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait that long immediately and they check the quality score accordingly. They
Yeah.
get the money and then do that. So I just remembered this
Yeah.
case study.
No, very good. I have not seen that. But let's say you are now responsible for buying that Coke. You work in Cadbury's or Mars or even Amul. Let's say you now work in Amul, you assume, and you are like responsible for buying cocoa for the chocolates, right? It is not the buyers. You need to buy from Africa or South America. It doesn't. Some cocoa might happen in South, but mostly. Mangalore, yes. Yeah, Nilgiri region. 100% from there or something from outside also? हाँ, Mangalore से कुछ आता होगा.
So whatever cocoa is being used, like Starbucks, whatever they are doing in India, they are taking from Tata plants.
Tata,
And
हाँ.
Tata plants, what they are doing, it's a mix of coffee and chicory.
Okay,
So that is what they are doing, and nothing is being taken from outside.
okay, that's
That I
good.
know about Tata, this part.
Okay.
The others I don't know.
So in Amul, chocolate
Hmm.
liquor and chocolate powder they from Mangalore after the processing and all that stuff.
Okay.
From the Arapur region of Andhra Pradesh, the Robusta variety.
Of coffee, yeah. Ah. Yes.
Even in Odisha, there's a place, Koraput.
Koraput. Ah. It has become quite famous now, Koraput coffee.
Koraput coffee,
Hmm.
they also have, most of this is, B2B, they source. But, there are some who actually very 5% or so, they keep it in the retail centers. They have like Koraput Coffee has one in Bhubaneswar, where you can actually walk in and you can actually look at that and where is it sourced from, everything that
Can you say there is a QR code? You can scan?
QR code and everything that is there with different varieties. So that is actually promoting a lot
Yes.
of consciousness on. And that is also a good way that the company gets to know the feedback.
Yes.
And actually it promotes its reputation also, that it is a very sustainable kind of thing, which is one of the reasons why this blockchain application is
Yes.
very
Yes.
kind of
That
you
coffee
could say.
one, that Colombia one, I said they are also doing. So finally, when it reaches the customer, you can scan the QR code, you can find who the farmer, you can even send a message to the farmer thanking. So it's a kind of direct feedback. Saris also sometimes I have seen. I don't know. My wife was telling that they can find out from where they have actually bought, who actually did the weaving or some place.
Some of the ones they are doing.
Yes.
Like Sutta is doing that and all.
Yes, yes. Suta is I am
Some
Lucknow
boutiques,
startup.
yes.
They are my students actually.
Oh, acha, Suchetna and all.
Yes.
They are doing wonderfully, sir.
Yes. Your sisters.
Oh, it is high priced. Even the bag they are giving, those are rags out of, from
Yes.
for sari making, whatever is left over,
There.
that is what they are using for making the bags. They are doing a lovely job.
Okay, you want to move on to IKEA? You want to take some? Let's move on to then IKEA. I have also given this small 2 conflict mineral and sustainable coffee case. I will have put in there. We will not discuss now, but I will put it in the folder. You can use it. So now let's focus. These are relatively 3 simple questions. IKEA has now also reached India, but historically they had a different kind of model, very different. But now circularity is increasingly become a focus for them. Those who have not spoken much, now they they should. Yeah. पहला क्वेश्चन आसान है ना.
मेरे क्वेश्चन वाले उसमें सारा क्वेश्चन एक साथ नहीं है, केस
You have something?
কেউ নেই, আমি ভুলে যাবো না তো, কালকে তো ইয়েতে থাকবে। একটু বলে দেবেন এই যে গ্রুপটাতে তো মেটেরিয়াল আছে, ইমিডিয়েটলি ডিলিট না করতে, মানে 3-4 দিন একটু মানে
রেখে দিতে সব।
এইটা হয়তো
এগুলো আর ইমেলে পাঠাইনি না, সব কিছুই গ্রুপে আছে। হ্যাঁ,
তো এইখানে অ্যাকচুয়ালি স্টোরেজ ইস্যুও তো হয়ে যাবে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে, আমি বলে দেবো।
মানে 3-4 একটু মানে
হ্যাঁ,
আমার যদি মনে না থাকে আমি আবার এদেরও বলে দেবো।
ঠিক আছে।
তাই জন্য ল্যাপটপও নিয়ে এসেছি, কিন্তু ল্যাপটপ নিয়ে আসলে না ডিস্ট্রাকশন হয় অনেক, মানে
মেল আসবে,
মেল আছে, ইয়ে আছে, তাই জন্য আমি নিয়ে এসেছি ওইগুলি, মানে আমি জাস্ট ফর দি ক্লাস, মানে
হ্যাঁ, ওই হোয়াটসঅ্যাপগুলো ডাউনলোড করে ইউ সেন্ড ইট ব্যাক, ফরওয়ার্ড ইট টু ইউর ইমেল অ্যান্ড কিপ ইট দেয়ার।
ওই ডাউনলোড
কত আছে। সব কিছুই এখন হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে হয়, দিস আই ডোন্ট লাইক অলসো দিস কাইন্ড অফ থিংস। হুম হ্যাঁ গুগল ড্রাইভে করে ওদের শেয়ার করে, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে আমি বলে দিচ্ছি। So who is doing what? Which question?
So this group is always being free.
Hmm?
Lucky number may be 3, so that's the
No,
reason.
no, not lucky. They see the easiest one and then.
नहीं नहीं, you are all adults. You have to decide. Second question is important. Study that cell back program and see what are the things. First one is easy.
Sir, I have a doubt. Like when in forward and reverse logistics, suppose when we ordered something to Amazon or Flipkart, we have we can guide like order are shipped out for delivery and everything. But when we returned it, we don't have
No.
this. So
Because
it
they
will
are-
directly go to that like to that warehouse directly or
No. That is because they also normally they just single thing they will not take back. No.
Yeah, that's
There is
the
a lot
point.
of cost. So they will see if these lot of returns are coming. They will wait for few days and then some other truck is coming. Forward truck is coming to unload. The same truck is returning. So they have to coordinate a lot to sell that back because sometimes it is the return can be to the same warehouse or there may be a specialized place where they are taking only the returns. So it depends, right? So it's
yeah, that's the reason they have like slotted for the 2 days after like
Ah,
return will
yes.
be happened on certain days and
yes,
certain
yes.
Okay, so that
It's there.
I didn't use it.
The return one.
Sir, when we return, till the point we are affected for getting the money, that refund, till that point it shows. And in case of exchange, total from the pickup to the point they are going, again it is getting dispatched and shipped and coming to us.
Exchange is different. Exchange you will
Yeah,
have.
but in refund also it is there. Yeah, it's there.
In the Amazon, they show refund as initiated.
Just only check my amount is there in my bank or not.
Go to the tracking, all things, steps are there. Full.
अपडेट ट्रैकिंग और एमनी ट्रैकिंग में चार ऐसे ब्लॉक्स आता है ऐसे 4 ब्लॉक्स
I
आता है
ordered that Flipkart when I'm telling you, na. I was like my grocery.
Flipkart, I don't know, but this Amazon
Amazon
does.
is there.
Amazon, Blinkit, Big Basket, they do.
But in early days, what I found sometimes, and that was a good practice. Suppose you order from the girls' hostel in Kharagpur, you ordered something, you are not, now you are not taking it. They were authorized to show it to the other people in the hostel if anybody wants to take. That was a good way. Instead of taking the return, somebody might take it. Lot of space.
lot of space and lot of costs also associated with that. তো সেক্ষেত্রে ধরুন মানে আমি বলছি কি ওইটা আপনি অনেক জায়গায় কি করে এই 3D 360 মানে ইয়ে মানে
দেখিয়ে নেয়।
হয়তো এক একটা স্যাম্পল ইয়ে করলো তাতে কিছুটা কস্ট কস্ট বা কাটেল হয়, ধরুন আপনি চলে যাচ্ছেন মানে ওরা গেছি ওখানে একটা মানে পুরো
বিশাল,
হ্যাঁ এই বিশাল ইয়েটাতে তো
বাট ওটা অপশানও ওরা এখন রাখছে আই থিঙ্ক। সো
तुम लोग उड़िया उड़िया बात करो तो जल्दी बोलते हो ना, फिर भी मैं फॉलो कर लेती हूँ. That's my talent. Actually, my many friends, many scholars are there who are Udiya. I have many Udiya friends.
Now I can.
Oh, you are good with languages, I guess. I mean, you understand Odia, you
মানে
understand
আপনি হয়তো
Telugu.
থিসিস অনেক রকম
হ্যাঁ না এটা এই কোর্সটাতে নেই, ওদের একটা আলাদা ডিজিটাল কেসও আছে। দেয়ার আর লট অফ থিংস দে আর ডুইং অন ডিজিটালাইজেশন, অ্যান্ড এই পার্টটাও ওদের অরিজিনালি ছিল এভরিবডি উইল।
One of my Telugu friends, he's like, okay, I add an O to everything and it will be done. Amrita.
My and I say them to every name you add tha. It's Vinita, no Vinitha. My roommate did similar bhai bhai. Like my friend's name is, my roommate is Kiran. They twist.
In Hindi it's fine.
You are actually
From Jammu Kashmir.
Jammu. तब तो पंजाबी तो obviously.
My dad is from Jammu. My mother is from Odisha.
Okay. Progressive.
तुम्हारा एक्चुअल घर अभी कहाँ पे, उड़ीसा में?
नहीं,
जम्मू.
नहीं, पापा is from Jammu, ना?
तो जम्मू में घर है.
दादी घर in Jammu, नानी घर in Odisha.
अभी पापा कहाँ रहते हैं?
6 months we live in Jammu, 6 months we live in Odisha.
First question we already discussed little bit I think yesterday. So what is the difference?
You told those who have not spoken with
Yes, yes,
Exactly.
yes.
all the
Speaking a lot.
indirectly you told us to
Keep quiet.
And they are the ones ready with the mic. Okay, you take. You take.
अरे हमें क्या
पहला क्वेश्चन तो इजी है, आप लोग सब खरीदते हैं, रिटर्न भी करते हैं, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए।
Why I don't want to answer the first question is because I've never returned any product. That's why I have no idea about reverse logistics.
Okay, very good. I also.
But you reused, na? Reused is also a part of reverse logistics. The assembly of parts, acquisition of the raw materials, acquisition of raw materials, then parts assembly, then make that modularity and all, checking that, and ultimately making the product and selling to the customer. This
forward.
entire thing is forward. And when it comes to reuse, refabricate, remanufacture, and making it as a raw material stage again to be recycled, then that is
Return.
reverse
But the first thing
logistics.
is also collection.
Yes, first is collection. Yes.
Yes. But what is the challenge in that reverse part? I also yesterday explained. Right, the forward part we can still plan. I mean, it is with some estimate we forecast, but we plan everything. Right. In the reverse is very
Collection,
uncertain.
separation of items, identification of the stage at which it is, like how much to repair or how much to add so that it can be sold again or reused again. That assessment is very important.
Repurposing, remodeling, but everything is very uncertain.
Yes.
How much volume we are getting, what is the quality of this, what is the quality of the overall product, what is the quality, overall product may be bad, but within that individual components may be good. So many things, many uncertainty is there. Unless we take it back, open up, disassemble, then we don't know, right. That's why I think some cases for some products based on image and image recognition, if we can make a quick assessment, that is one way. And then otherwise I was saying this passport thing is repeatedly coming up, digital product passport. If that history of the product is there, people will be able to take the decision.
And again, it depends on the habit. If it is like very too little for a company to engage again the human resource over there, it will be too much of a cost. So
Yeah.
the cost benefit analysis will also, there won't be
That's
any
why I say
equilibrium.
they also wait. If not much returns is happening, they will not take it back to the
Yes.
center.
Yes.
And as we showed yesterday that early processing is better. In the collection center itself, if you can do lot of things so that they already segregate, you already decide which one will go to which pathway, and then you process those in the separate pathway. Remanufacturing has to be happened in a separate place. But depending on the volume, sometimes if just one item has come in one day, they will not take it back the next day, right. So they have to wait till they give a sufficient volume, and they also sometimes have to coordinate between forward and lever. The truck is coming, if it is returning empty, there are some space, they will put it there. So all these things optimization is needed. In this case, they have collaborated with Optoro or
Optoro.
so they are actually optimizing the reverse logistics routing. As it said, this is a very complex problem. So this is a lot of uncertainty, stochastic uncertainty is there. So that's why this has to be modeled well. Now coming back to the sellback program, who is going to do that? What are their unique features? What are the strength, weakness?
I already have said. Yes.
माइक किसके पास है कोई बोल रहे हैं हाँ फर्स्ट वन टेल प्लीज
So I want to add some points like forward is basically it's a linear kind of thing from manufacturer to direct
Not manufacturer,
consumer.
उसके पहले
Okay,
sourcing
sir.
tel.
From yes, like that and material acquisition to end consumer,
customer,
like we can say. But the reverse part is completely circular. And if we consider it from the environmental perspective, forward do not cause much impact on environmental concern, but reverse.
Forward each stage also has impact.
But not.
Because the entire
But,
SCA is there.
sir, but if we compare between these two, reverse part is challenging in terms of dispose and all those recycling. So it is quite higher in terms of
We
comparison.
cannot directly say, but yes, in the reverse also when the risk may be higher if it
Yes.
goes to landfill or others. But in the reverse process also we are consuming energy. There is a greenhouse gas emission, there is a water consumption, everything might happen. But the forward generally the level of consumption of resources is much higher. But the reverse, the risk of disposing the product wrongly is higher. So unless we decide properly, we are able to segregate, lot of toxic material, hazardous material might be there. So all of this work is difficult to do. You need also skilled people to do it. There are less and less technicians available to do this kind of work. Yes.
So
Yes. Now
talk about the question
whoever
number 2
is-
or someone else.
She will last bench.
Okay.
Somebody wants. He wants to talk. He wants to talk first.
Sir, IKEA made simple low price product possibly through able to afford many of them. The first rule maintain extremely low level price compares our level price driver customer is a finding the right balance between price, quality and functionality as in itself. Consumers need harder wearing surface, shelf back bookcase.
That is the product. Now focus on the sell back, the specific program where customers can return the product. What is happening there? What are some of the strengths there?
No idea, sir.
No idea उसमें है ना, लिखा है ना.
Basically, in the sellback that program, IKEA was offering and offer that the customer can return after use also, and but there are some condition that it should be in sellable condition, that should not be modified in structure, and it should be returned in full architecture that was being bought at that time. So the strength will be the recyclable process. The IKEA has the opportunity to sell the same product again to somebody else without spending much money in manufacturing, and even not spending much money on the logistic to bring it back into the store. And it will give in compensation for small businesses in Swiss. They have mentioned that they just treat it as a rented system that they will use for some time, and they will bring back to the store and get their money 50 times back. So that will be also beneficial for some small companies, and a attractive deal that will promote IKEAs in those areas. And for the weakness part, as I have mentioned, those clause, because many modify those furniture according to their own need, to their interior design. So that time they are thinking that we are buying, and a later point of time we will decide that we will return it. But at that time they will not take, as they have already modified. The reason they have given that if they modify it according to their need, that will suffice their needs, but that will be difficult to sell or again fit into their already existing architecture. And apart from that, there can be many damages, that is also. And the also carbon footprints is on the customer side. There they are taking that product, and the last thing that fully assembled, that will be very much bulkier, that not normal families do not have that bigger truck like or lorry like system to bring that bigger furniture just to sell it back into the stores. Those are the things I
Yes, these are very good. So वो पूरा कस्टमर को ही काम करवाते हैं, खरीदने के टाइम आप लेके जाओ, असेंबल करो और असेंबल लेके आओ. So that is, they are trying to reduce as much burden on their side, but this is a big constraint. So it's a bulky sofa or furniture, then you have to bring in. So customer work burden as well as the logistical burden is very high. Plus it's only also restricted to their loyalty customers. So, and they are not giving direct cash. It is a big case.
There will not be any damage or any like those things torn out in those sofas or any furniture. It will be very unlikely. If we use one day itself, it got damaged. It will be in pen and paper only, that buyback system. It will be very difficult to match their conditions.
The other thing, the store credit thing, is we are actually again that means promoting people to buy more. And so overall it doesn't seem to be very sustainable. That's very restrictive in a way. Plus other things, electronics, textile, etc. All these things are excluded, right? Plus. No, that's why they don't want to do this. That's why they want the exact same piece, pretty much almost the same. They don't want to check, so they can pretty much sell it at a low price, but they don't want to do that work, right? So you have to.
Look into the consolidated income statement again. Coming to that part,
That is good, yes.
We are seeing that between the 2 years, operational costs have gone up, and most probably it is because of that recycling part. And if you look into the balance sheet, the inventory is too high. Inventory is too high, meaning obviously they are getting collected, so most probably they are not being able to sell. And for that, the current liabilities are also going. So that entire chain of procuring and selling back, it's becoming a challenge. But for this, we need also the details for the earlier years, then we can have a good picture.
Yes, that may be a right thing. So I think the immediate thing they can do is the customer can also disassemble and bring. They will bring in little bit more thing, and not exactly the same way, even the modified ones. So if they are really interested.
What they are doing, I mean, not all have to bring in like that. If you see, they have different categories.
Yeah, different categories.
I mean 40%, 70%, 30% like that.
Yeah.
Depending on that, they are being given such
That's the
kind
price-
of store
price,
credit.
yeah,
That is there. But this modification part, normally what they give, I mean, since I have been to the store, they don't require modification. I mean, it depends
Yes.
on the mindset of the people.
No, no,
who are
mostly
using it.
not. 95% not.
90% it is not.
But I mean, Europe people do. They are also creative. They do something else. Once
Yes.
they give the basic thing, then
So
they
when
on
they
top
are
of it.
selling, sir, if they make it as, I mean, it's kind of a mandate. See, if you want to sell, please don't do the following. So
Yeah.
if they list it out like that and
Yeah.
give it as a instruction manual along with that.
For office furniture, etc., it will be very easy.
Yes.
Home, sometimes people do modify. So.
Yes, and if they increase the human resource for pickup facility, like we were talking about the old cars, they come and they check and they take it. But cars can be driven and
Yeah.
but they have to bring their own cars.
No.
So that again, if I mean at the same place, how many homes are, I mean households are actually wanting to return? If they tap it and then they take it, it may be a little bit time consuming for the consumers. They may not be having the space. But if they have a small rented place where they can be dumped and from there they can be taken, so the cost side also have to be looked into.
Yeah. Good. Any other thoughts? Last question.
So, IKEA is widely recognized for its commitment to sustainable marketing, which integrates environmental, social, and ethical consideration into its business strategy. Extent of engagement, product innovation, durable, energy efficient, and made from sustainable or recycled materials. Example: bamboo, FSC certified wood, and recycled plastics. Modular furniture to repair or upgrade product, reducing waste. Renewable energy, invested in wind and solar energy, aiming to become eliminate
वो तो अलग
पॉजिटिव
चीज़
बाई
है, हाँ।
2030. Sorry. Some points.
Yes, which is directly from the case, but you have to analyze. So, what are some of the
The circular is every aspect of the business. It's easier for customer acquire the past product of circular way, repairing, reusing, reselling, and recycling. Come to the design, all the product to be 100% circular from the beginning. Renewable cycle material and to developing circular capabilities in our supply chain.
But this is not related to this particular question. What you said, this question is about how they are engaging in sustainable marketing.
Yes, it's ethical sources and promotes fair wage, working condition, and responsible forestry. Partnership with organization like WWF help minimize the environmental impact. And circular economy is initiatives into recycling programs by back options and refurbishing service reduce landfill waste.
Yeah. 2 and 4. Customer value, customer orientation. Exhibit 2 also. No, it's not exhibit 2.
Sir, also the 2020 case wherein IKEA was giving the 3 spare parts and replacement parts so that they can extend the lives.
Yes.
That was a part of their marketing as
Part
well.
of, yes. So for marketing things, you need to answer what value are they providing to the customers and why they are doing it. Right? So they are doing something with specific need to kind of either acquire customers or get consumer trust and so on. So what are those actions? These are the things which they are anyway doing, but how are they communicating that message? There's some specific actions. So the only marketing expert in this class is you. Right? You are the marketing student. None of us are marketing experts. So this one you have to answer. Any concluding thoughts? But there are also Indian competitors now, not exactly like IKEA, but there are companies who are having furniture, paper fry. Yes, Urban Ladder. Do they provide this kind of assembling options, or everything you have to? Yeah, because India that culture is not there, that you have to assemble. Yes, but now IKEA has also started. So they have an app. They have acquired a company called TaskRabbit. So people who don't want to do, then they can actually get into the app and so they said I have bought it, and then there is a whole lot of people who want to assemble. So and these are all students kind of people. They are for money. They are doing this. Mike.
Like in
Sometimes they are not using it. Sometimes it's not. Yeah.
Like again I say that India is a
Very different.
different market. So again if you look at the, like I was saying, that cost advantages that they might get with disassembling, I mean like modular thing which sir was also telling. So transportation costs etc. also kind of reduce. But so then you need to work out like maybe 3 generations. So there is one generation who might like to kind of assemble, and it is a growing thing, okay, here. But then there are some other, I mean if you, that categorization might be in 3 age groups or 2 age groups that they will find out. But definitely that can also contribute to cost advantages also, as well as you are assembling, delivering, going there means extra resources which you are actually utilizing waste. So they would try to promote as much as disassembling, and that comes also with the behavioral part. Okay, so therefore that analysis also if they can do.
The other thing which you said, I think it's happening. As I said, there is a separate. They are doing now a lot on digital. Their overall store footprints are, I think, reducing the size of the stores, because if people live through virtual reality and other things, if they can see how the furniture will fit our house, then they already come prepared, planned, and they don't need to spend a lot of time, and then they can directly buy, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, but they, they make most money not from the furniture but from the food they sell in the stores, because they have to spend so much time. IKEA visit means it's like full day, it's a headache for the male members of the family to spend full day in a furniture store, right? So they are there with the children buying food, and the woman is nicely moving around buying furniture.
And then furniture is such a segment that if you have come to buy one, you might actually buy 2 more accessories and buy itna time.
That's why they give the bag.
Basically,
They give a huge bag at front.
Almost like a full room, right?
Yes.
ये भी लेना है, वो भी लेना है.
So that is also a strategy for them.
Sir, another, if they have to be truly circular, I mean, they have listed out the eligible and ineligible items, and if you see the ineligible is too much, at least they should take back and they should engage in the right disposal methods, because every household, I mean, normal people, they do not know how to dispose them of. The maximum will be it will go to the landfills. Same from the kabadiwalas and then to the landfills. Rather than that, if they can engage in such kind of an activity, I mean, we are not taking it back for a price, but at least give it to us so that we can dispose it. Then that would be truly circular.
And globally also, I mean, this is very restrictive geographically. If they have not done in China, is also they are quite big. If China market, they are not doing. It seems to be kind of a half-hearted attempt to start off with something, at least whatever in this case. Later on, exactly what they are doing, I don't know. But this was not a very foolproof attempt of going towards a full supply.
Also, one point which you mentioned, that is the Asian or Indian habit, that वो कुछ पसंद नहीं आया आने पर वो या कुछ नहीं हुआ तो वो रिटर्न, मतलब रिटर्न्स का भी एक होता है ना वजह, तो वो भी मतलब like I don't know, might be that in the Indian context the returns policy might be a little different from the European.
Yeah, but they will not get into this at all here. They know if the complexity is very high, there will be more returns than buying. So it is a big headache. They will not be.
And so yesterday you were telling about the cloth bag and the plastic one. So I had read one article in the newspaper. Odisha state government, the pollution board, they proposed to set a vending machines, like installing vending machine for 5 top cities like Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Berhampur, and Sambalpur and Raulkela. So they propose this to the government, like they'll set up near bus stop or shopping mall so that people can use that vending machine for the cloth purpose, the cloth bag only. So that you can have recyclable cloth bags and you can use many times. But there are also few challenges like the placement of that machine, safety concerns, and to be create awareness about that particular. So I think slowly this thing will become like happening in India also. So it's quite good to had that initiative first time. I have read something in Odisha government is doing so.
Odisha government is now doing very well. Many things to learn from them. Very good. We will close the discussion today. Tomorrow also we'll have 2 sessions. Now quiz and photo.